Hello, I'm on to episode number 64 of the TEW WWE Challenge Run. This is going to be the fourth show of the India tour for the month of October. We're nearly halfway through it now, which is good to know. And it's going to be SmackDown and the Mae Young Classic as we continue the build to Super Showdown and Evolution at the end of the month. We're in Northern India again today, because there's only three. That says Mid-South, but yeah, Northern India, Central. We've done all three of them, so we're back into the North. And they get a dose of SmackDown action. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into the show.
Close your eyes, surrender your beliefs to them for holding. Wait patiently to hear whatever changing minds are showing. The week will come. All they wanted was violence to put the chains and divide us. It's all the worst that's inside us. We'll bring on the violence, the violence.
I left Paul Heyman off screen, and I rated Lies on Overness, and he's not over apparently, so this bombed. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. And at No Mercy, I was excited about the blockbuster match between Braun Strowman and Keith Lee, and so was my client Brock Lesnar. So much so that Brock Lesnar issued a challenge to the winner of that match. That happened to be the limitless Keith Lee. Now, Brock Lesnar and Keith Lee previously met, as you may remember, at the Royal Rumble match back in January, and Keith Lee was the first person in that match to take the fight to Brock Lesnar. So he's someone who Brock has had his eye on for months. And when Keith Lee dismissed the monster among men, Braun Strowman, at No Mercy, Lesnar knew that he was the real deal, which was vindicated when Keith Lee pounced my client out of the ring after the match at No Mercy when he came face to face with his opponent at Super Showdown. However, make no mistake about it, Keith Lee, Brock Lesnar was blindsided. And Brock Lesnar will not be blindsided at Super Showdown, where you will find out that everyone has a limit when they're in the ring with Brock Lesnar. So just selling, as Heyman does best, selling the match between Keith Lee and Brock for Super Showdown. And yeah, like, you have to really bring up the fact that he did take the fight to him in the Royal Rumble, and they're meeting again one-on-one in a sanctioned match this time at Super Showdown here in India. The opening match of the show gets a 44. Mustafa Ali defeats Bobby Lashley in 13 minutes and 30 seconds by pinfall after Apollo Crews accidentally interferes and accidentally hits Bobby Lashley and costs him the match. So Mustafa Ali will join Shinsuke and AJ in the WWE World Cup from the SmackDown side. So with 7 of the 8 spots now filled, Ali gets a 45, Lashley a 57. Speaking of 57s, Baron Corbin is in Commissioner GM Adam Pearce's office, and he says that since Bryan is busy tonight wrestling Tucker, trying to qualify for the WWE World Cup, that means that if he beats Tucker, Corbin should get the night off at Super Showdown since Bryan's the number 1 contender and still wants to wrestle him. And Pearce just laughs at Corbin. He's like, no, don't be silly, Bryan. Maybe preoccupied, but we still need a Universal title match for the loving Indian WWE Universe. And there'll be a main event fatal 4-way match tonight between Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, Angel Garza, and Rey Mysterio. And the winner of that will face you at Super Showdown, Corbin, for the Universal title. So Corbin trying to weasel his way, of course, out of defending the title of the pay-per-view, but Big Adam has said, nah, that ain't happening, bro. Bo Dallas is in the ring. He's cutting a promo about how he now knows he has to put Bo Leave in himself, and he's issuing an open challenge to anyone on that SmackDown roster who thinks they can take it to Bo. Then out comes Jacob Fatu and Lana, who tells Bo that he will be Bo leaving in an ambulance thanks to her client Jacob Fatu, which doesn't quite happen, but he does get beat up in 5 minutes with Samoan drop. 41 for Jacob and 29 for Bo, and a 38 for the match. that's about it, really. Figure Fatu's build coming along nicely. Speaking of build, we just get a segment here with Path of the Dragon and Luchasaurus. Just a nice little character building piece, showing Luchasaurus in the jungle and all sorts, training Tozawa and Carrillo, doing whatever they do. Just sort of building the characters up, like showing off that they're basically WWE's version of Jurassic Express. But Luchasaurus, I wouldn't actually have him say he's 60 million years old and he's a dinosaur and all that. Just he's very in tune with the history of dinosaurs and the Jurassic times, and he's trying to show the way and how that can help benefit Carrillo and Tozawa in their career. Nice little 3-man stable. Because we haven't got enough of those. Paige here, she wrestles Mickie James in her first match back on SmackDown and beats her with a Rampage in 7:34. She gets a 52, Mickie James a 31. And then Paige is celebrating her win when after the match Shayna Baszler jumps in, chokes Paige out, and sort of just shouts at her saying that she'd be the champion right now. She'd have won that fatal 4-way if Paige wasn't there. And that her receipt, it's coming. This was just a taste. Tag title match, because why the fuck not? The Usos defending against Ziggler and Roode. Usos defeat Ziggler and Roode in 10:27. Jimmy Uso pinned Boy Roode with a double super kick, and they make defense number 1 of the SmackDown Tag Team titles. 41 for Jimmy, 38 for Jay, 44 for Ziggler. 44 for Roode, sorry, and a 48 for Ziggler. So just a random tag title match to sort of prop the show up. But it got a 46, so probably didn't do the best job. This, however, did. Good old Daniel Bryan has an interview with Kayla Braxton. He says that he has to temporarily put Corbin at the back of his mind, because he has to defeat his little buddy Tucker tonight and punch his ticket to the SmackDown side of the WWE World Cup. And that's when Angel Garza walks into frame and he's sort of like, "Pardon, I'm sorry to interrupt." And then he's like, offers Kayla a rose, blows her a kiss, and starts flirting with her while she's interviewing with Bryan, and she's like, "Oh, thank you, Angel Garza." And Bryan's like, "Garza, I know this is your thing, you're like this Lothario, but you need to focus because you're in that Fatal 4-Way main event tonight, and I know you're a hell of a talent. So I know for a fact you've got what it takes to win that match and beat King Corbin at Super Showdown. And if you manage to do that, I'll be the number 1 contender, and quite frankly, me and you will have a great match for that Universal title. So if you want that to happen, it starts tonight. You've got to focus on winning that Fatal 4-Way. And Garza sort of, he nods, he knows what Bryan's saying, he winks at Kayla, he's like, "Yeah, I do, and then maybe I'll be a winner, and winners get the girl," or whatever. So that's extra motivation for him, in his mind, but he's on SmackDown so he's going to flirt with Kayla instead of Charlie on Raw, because that's fun. Don't know why they stopped doing it. 31, Alexa and Nia beat Sugar Rush in 8:09. Alexa pins Xia Brookside with Twisted Bliss. 31 for Alexa, 22 for Nia, 27 for Candy Floss, and a 29 for Xia Brookside. Then just a quick promo after the match. Alexa grabs the mic. She says that she can't wait to shake the dead weight off her tail once and for all. Her 2 ex-best friends, Nikki Cross and Ember Moon, because her and Nia accept their challenge for a tag team match at Evolution. So it'll be Alexa and Nia against Ember Moon and Nikki Cross. 69, nice. It's actually a pretty good match, for India standards at least. Daniel Bryan defeats Tucker Knight, of course he does, in 10:39 with the S-Lock. 84 for Bryan, 39 for Tucker. And the entire field for the WWE World Cup is now complete. On the Raw side, it's John Cena, Andrade, Jeff Hardy, and Drew McIntyre. And on the SmackDown side, it's Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Nakamura, and Mustafa Ali. So those are the 8 men that will compete for the right to call themselves best in the world at Super Showdown. But the night ain't over here tonight, because Michael Cole has got one of those pre-recorded sit-down interviews with Sasha Banks. And she's like, "How are you feeling after you've taken a week off to recover from Bayley's attack at No Mercy?" Sasha says that was supposed to be the greatest moment of her life. It was in her hometown in the main event with her best friend by her side, and she retained that title. But Bayley went and ruined all of that for one shot at trying to get back at me for all I've done to her. Bayley said last week that Sasha can't beat Bayley and that she's going to get that title back at Evolution. And that may have been true in the past, But that was the old Bayley. That was the Bayley that was her best friend, the most beloved superstar in NXT, the hugger, the one who had the fire and desire to win against no matter what the odds were, that Bayley. And that was the old Sasha. She beat the old Sasha Banks. She beat the boss, the NXT, the young up-and-coming blue chipper. Not this Sasha. So and she sort of turns to the camera. She's like, so Bayley, at Evolution, you bring the new Bayley. And you bring the new... I'll bring the new Sasha. And we'll meet one-on-one. And we'll find out that this Bayley, she just can't cut it against this boss. Legit. Bank on that. Tap the title, etc., etc. 66 rated main event somehow could have saved the show. In a fatal 4-way match. I can't be asked to edit all together, so I'm just going to explain what happened after the fact. Angel Garza defeats Roman Reigns, Rey Mysterio, and Braun Strowman when he pins Braun Strowman with the wing clipper. Wouldn't be the wing clipper, I can't imagine him hitting that on Braun. Some sort of other move that he would be able to hit on Braun. But during the match, Roman Reigns is going, ooh ah, he's going to win with a spear on maybe Rey, when the lights go out and they come back on. And the red lighting is flashing, the Fiend is screaming. But then the Fiend rises from out of the ring and he drags Roman to hell, and then the hole ignites in flames. And then we cut to commercial during the match, and then after the match it's like, oh golly gee, I guess it's a triple threat match now, which then ends in Angel Garza pinning Braun Strowman and cementing his ticket for a Universal title match at Super Showdown. And then after the match, I didn't put a segment in, but there would be a segment where Roman crawls out of the hole, like, covered in ash, like coughing, because he can't breathe, and smoke rising out of the hole as the Fiend laughs at him. Can't believe I forgot to put that in as a very important segment, but we move. 66, no popularity changes, because we're in the heating up period. So this is absolutely perfect timing, because we're in India and we're going to lose pop. But the 66 is actually respectable for this show, and I'll see you over the other side for night 6 of the Mae Young Classic as we cement the final quarterfinalists for that tournament. Mae Young Classic, Night 6, the final matches of the round of 16, and we're going to find out who the last 4 quarterfinalists are going to be here today, starting with the opening match. Jordynne Grace and Taylor Hendricks going over their careers and why they both want to win, but only one woman can. And at 21, Jordynne Grace defeats Taylor Hendricks in 10-16 for a fall from Grace. Jordynne gets a 32 and a 15 for Taylor. So Jordynne Grace advances to the quarterfinals of the Mae Young Classic 2020. No-brainer, really, there. 28, Battle of the Valkyries. Fight of the Valkyries. Aether Valkyrie and Taya Valkyrie cut promos on why they are the best Valkyrie, but only one can win. And number 21, Aether Valkyrie defeats Taya Valkyrie in 9:38 with the guillotine. Aether gets a 26 and Taya gets a 29. Originally, Taya Valkyrie was supposed to win this match and go to the next round so she could have a more impressive run, because the original plan was to bring her in with John Morrison and The Miz, where they could both have their hot blonde wives as their managers. But Miz and Maurice got divorced 2 days ago in the game, so that plan has now got to be scrapped. So Taya Valkyrie can afford to put someone over here. Anyway, Indy Hartwell, Lufisto, their match, the veteran and the young up-and-comer, who's going to punch their ticket to the quarterfinals. In a 19, Lufisto defeated Indy Hartwell by submission in 10:32. 26 for both women and a 19 for the match. So we have 7 of our quarterfinalists crowned. It's Lufisto, Jordynne Grace, Aether Valkyrie, Katie Lee, Kylie Ray, Sari, and somebody else over on the left-hand side. And the 8th is the winner of this main event. Ivelisse and Melissa, 2 more imposing women. And only one of them gets to advance here because they've bet up in the last 16. And at 23 In 1310, Melissa defeats Ivelisse with an air raid crash. Ivelisse gets a 30 and a 33 for Melissa, cementing her ticket to be the final quarterfinalist of the Mae Young Classic. Show gets a 24, and that's not bad because of course it's a B show, so it doesn't really matter what the rating is. And Rain, I forgot, is the other woman. So yeah, it's Rain, Katie Lee, Kelly Ray, Sari, Melissa, Lufisto, Ava Valkyrie, and Jordan Grace, the final 8 of the Mae Young Classic. Join me next time for the next episode of Mae Young Classic, where I believe we'll smash out all the quarterfinals. And also SmackDown. But join me next time for episode 65, which will be the follow-up from a very, 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 very eventful last episode of Monday Night Raw. Where will that all play? We'll have to tune in next time to find out. See you then.